Twyla, where are you calling from today?
Hey, I'm in Toronto.
Toronto. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said I'd love some support around the articulation and sharing of one specific offer I have to make personalized practices. I know these practices are incredible and would love to reach more people. Feedback on either the clarity of the offer or other ways to share and market. Uh, somaing.ca, your practice. Okay, so I'll do a little screen share and we'll take a gander at this together. Uh, okay, so the very first thing that I want to say is for anyone who is working on your offers, where is this? If you go to marketingforhippies.com/value slider, this is a tool I really urge you all to dive into. It's a way of looking at your offers and seeing where they're strong and where they're weak. So remember we talked in the beginning, you get their attention, you filter, you lower the risk. But within filtering, three things: relevance, credibility, value. This is for the value piece, which we haven't talked about much this call. How do you actually make an offer that people perceive as value? I mean, that has to be valuable, but also they see it and they say, yeah, for me on the buying end, that's valuable. That's worth the money. That's the return on investment piece. And so this is robust. There's a little self-assessment thing you can take yourself through. There's a link to the book Leadsology by Tom Poland, where I got this and have adapted it from. There's a bunch of videos. This could be its own thing about sell. Maybe I will someday, but anyways. And then there's a video of George Cow and I talking through this fairly in depth. So I recommend checking that out. Okay, but let's look at this. Your life, your practice. Okay, got it. Transformation in your busy life. Imagine a way to have more of whatever you need in your life, whether that's more ease, flow, healing, rest, a sense of balance, or confidence easily and consistently without adding more to do to your already busy life. Your practice can provide just that. How? By weaving the transformation into your daily life as it is. Change isn't once and done. Creating something requires creating new habits. Choosing something we want and practicing it over and over until it's just part of what we do. And this is what often stops so many of us from making the changes we desire. We usually have good intentions, but it can be difficult to follow through to repeat those little things often enough until we see real change. Here's where your practice comes in. Your practice is a unique program in which a practice is created just for you. This personalized audio practice is designed to address the transformation you seek in regular activities that you already do. No need for ongoing training or coaching. No need to find extra time in your day because it's within the things you already do. No need to create plans or implementation strategies because the change happens in your life as you live it. Okay, what can your practice help with? Yeah, how does it work? If you get a one-time 30-minute one-on-one Zoom consultation, Dr. Twyla Korolenko, where we explore and clarify what it is you're seeking more of in your life. A personalized guided audio practice created specifically for you from this consultation. How long is this, the audio practice? Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour?
It varies and it depends on you can put that in. I think in a lot of the marketing, I do say that they've been anywhere so far from like 5 to 30 minutes, but it's whatever works for the person. Every part of the practice is designed for what's going to work for this person.
Okay, I might just add that in here because that's a big uncertainty that has me lean away. So like this will go from 5 to 30 minutes depending on the situation that you're in. Right, a co-created plan to use the practice daily within the things you already do without it being yet another to do on the list, an option for accountability. Okay. Okay, I basically get the idea. So here's the very first thing is I think the headline needs work. This is evocative, but not so clear to me. Like this to me could also be translated as how to be more effective at work in your online business, or how to take breaks and listen to nice music. I This image could be useful later, but I don't think this is the headline. Okay, so then let's just say we scratch that. So then we're starting like this. Transformation in your busy life. That's really generic. And this could be almost everybody on the call, is my guess. This also feels how to have more, this just starts to feel a little bit over-promisey. And because it's so vague, I'm just like, I want to dismiss it because it seems too good to be true. It has that ring. Once we get to the creating new habits, well, as soon as you said your practice, I'm like, okay, now there's some grit. I'm interested. Creating new habits. Okay, so let's see what we can do in the limited time here, but this is what occurs to me. In marketing, the danger is we go to the point of view too soon. Because a lot of this, right, we're talking about, hey, if you want to create change, that's about habits, and the best way to get into habits is to have a practice. That's the logical chain that I'm following, right? Change comes from habits, habits come from practice. Am I following that right? Right. And that the practice, in order for it to work, it has to fit in your life. So let's just say that's 4 steps in the chain. Change comes from habits, comes from practice, which has to be put into your life as it is. So you're not adding yet more and more and more, and then you snap eventually. Those 4 things. That makes sense to me, a lot of sense. Like in terms of point of view and making the case, one way to think about it is we're trying to give the logic. The mistake I see in a lot of marketing these days is there's too much focus on the emotion or generating the emotion, in other words, punching the bruise that they come with, sticking the knife in their wound and twisting it around. Don't you want to buy? How long do you want to be struggling with this problem, right? And I don't think that's the appropriate, ethical, or even useful way of relating to that. Instead, what we do is we just find somebody where they already have the problem. That's painful for them. Yeah. And then we say, here's a way out. So the emotion is kind of handled. They walk in the door, you're doing a live workshop on this. Everyone walking in the room, the emotion's there. Problem solved. But then what they're looking for is the logic. What they're looking for is like, why is this so hard? How do I change it? How do I get from island A to B? That's what they want, is the how. They want to know, what are my blind spots? Where am I struggling? And so that's what I don't see here, is the relevance piece. I see the kind of credibility piece. I see the point of view piece, but I don't see the exact relevance of like, what is it they're wanting that this is going to help them with beyond transformation, which feels a bit too broad to grasp. So what you could do is you could back it up and you could say, I'm riffing, so this is rough, but like, do you have a specific habit you've wanted to create but haven't been able to do? And it's been years, like, I should meditate more, I should exercise more, I should whatever it is, I should I don't know, deal with my anxiety, or I should. But you want to define the kind of habit you want to help people with, the kind of a practice you want to build. But it could just be like, have you been meaning to deal with this type of thing specifically? So now when I scroll down, we've got, here we go.
I want to say it is really non-specific. It's more about the process that is unique.
Yeah, well,
because I have made practices for all sorts of people.
But the process of what?
Of having regular practice in your life in a way that it integrates without needing to have ongoing coaching. So a way
But
to implement something new supportively.
I get it. And what I'm saying is, unless they are craving a practice, this isn't relevant to them. Unless they're craving to build a practice, because otherwise you're saying like, hey, do you want any results in life? You see what I'm saying? Here's this, a practice can help with just about anything. And we give the laundry list. Like, hey, Reiki can help with just about anything. Yoga can help with just about anything. Just come to my class and we'll have a personalized thing. So unless they're thinking about a practice, it's like I haven't found it's like I'm looking at a house, but I can't find the door right now. Like what, how do I get into this thing? Where's the in for me? Now, one way to do it, which I don't think is the way to do it here, but is you could pick just one of these. You say, look, are you really struggling with imposter syndrome? Here's how we're going to deal with it. Because you see, then that is the way in. Oh, I am struggling with that. That's Island A. I'm in that situation. Now it's relevant to me. But because that's not the focus here. The focus is on it's the boat. You really are selling the boat here, which is not necessarily a problem, but I still need to know if you're going to be selling a boat, it's got to be a boat that people want to get on. So it has to be framed in that way. So again, one way to do it is you say, the headline could also be something like, and by the way, if anyone else has ideas for headlines that I'm not seeing, because maybe you see something I'm missing, feel free to put it in the chat and just put Twyla, all caps, colon, so she knows for her. But just put it in the chat. We're not going to have time for comments on it otherwise. But it could be something like, yeah, are you realizing that a lot of the changes you make, are you tired of going to workshops and fucking burning out? And are you tired of going to retreats and signing up for big programs only to have the results not last? And you're realizing what you actually have to do to make the changes in your life you want is to create a consistent practice and habit. And you want support in doing that. You know, that might be the situation then. But so you can all see, we always have to get back to what's the situation they're in. So Twyla, I would do that exercise of drawing out Island A. Like, what is that? So I could imagine, for example, in that picture, they've got stacks of books. They've got stacks of workshop binders next to them. And they're just sitting there with their head in their hands, you know, like, oh God, my life is still not working. And how do I integrate all of this? How do I actually make the changes? Or it's like, are you drowning and you intellectually understand your problem, but nothing's changed? You've read all the books, you understand it, but you actually haven't made the change in your real daily life. It could be that. The last thought I would give is your target market might not actually be the clients. It might be the teachers, therapists, other coaches who are frustrated that their clients are not integrating what they're talking about. Like there may be a second order of business here for you where you go to somebody, let's say, who runs retreats, and you say, do you have a lot of your people who they go through this stuff, but they don't actually integrate it? And they say, yeah. And it's like, we don't have the bandwidth to help with the coaching and integration. It's like, I would love to work with your people and help them actually weave this stuff into their regular life. So that they, at a level, they're hubs, right? But also in some way, they're a client in that you're helping them solve a problem. Because I could see you going to some of these other coaches or teachers or trainers and you say, you know, here's the thing. If your people don't integrate this stuff they learn from you, they're not going to be as thrilled. But if they do, it's better word of mouth for you. They're going to refer more people to you because they're actually doing it. So, you know, you could find all the local, I don't know, nonviolent communication instructors, the work of Byron Katie instructors, all the modalities you love the most, and you could approach them. So that could also be a kind of business. And I'd be curious who you get a better response from. Because here's, okay, 3 criteria of a really solid target market. Whenever I'm looking at a target market, I go through these 3. Number 1, is it clear? Do I get it if I'm in that group or not? Do other people's faces come to mind? So that's most important. And in terms of the situation of, oh, I've got all this stuff to integrate and I haven't, we're in the ballpark at least there. I think there's some honing to do, but generally it's like, okay, I think I kind of get that. Number two. And then I thought about the audio recordings. Number two, can I find them? Are there hubs? So, right, where do I find these people who are struggling to integrate these things? And I've just given some examples. So, okay, I've got some. And then are there enough, I imagine? But I'm giving it like a 60% on all three, because I think there's a little bit more honing to do. But also the other thing on the point of view is, because if we follow the chain, right, you want to make a change. That's one. And that takes habits. And that takes a practice. Then I do these audio things. And I don't think the case for me has been made, at least in skimming this, which is probably not fair, but is I don't get why that's so helpful or needed. So that's a case I think that has to be made. Why on earth would I want a personalized audio practice? I know the habits I need to have. I get it. I already know what I need to do. That's not the mystery for me. The mystery is, why am I not doing it? Like, this just seems like one more thing to do. You just said it's not one more thing, but now I have to listen to this audio. But that's extra time, and what, how is this going to help? So that's a case I'd like to see made, is why this approach? Why would having that help me? Don't I just need to be more disciplined? Don't I just need to fucking carve out some time in my schedule and actually do this thing? How would this help? So I think I'd like to see a whole section here of why this. Why not just more grit? Why not just better time management? Maybe I should just go to a time management workshop. Maybe I should hire a coach for this. Maybe I should just get more accountability. Maybe I should make outrageous statements on Facebook about what I'm going to do so people will hold me to account. There's lots of other ways people are thinking about this. So one of the biggest points of view to be made here is, look, you may have already thought about changing your habits and practice, so why haven't you? What's the blind spot that's keeping you from doing it? Here's my take. And therefore, here's why why I have this approach. Here's why this matters. Okay, so we'll do one more and then we're going to wrap up. Thank you, Twyla. It's good to have you here.